Yeah, so hi, one person watching this on YouTube. I'm reading this page on PW's wiki, going over the conflicts between mDiyo and GregoriusT. And so the grammar mistakes here in this message are great. And that's where I am. So, yeah, so exploit warning. There'll be a link in the description if you guys want to read this. But Cubix is here with me. Say hi, Cubix.
Hi, Cubix.
Ah, great. Okay, so exploit warning. Tinker's construct adds functionality which causes many blocks to duplicate drops when being hit by a tool which has luck and auto smelt on it. Those blocks include stone, potatoes, wood, cacti, and netherrack, for example. mDiyo horribly failed to realize that his fortune auto smelt function dupes anything what can be smolten. Not just ores. What can be smolten is great. Yeah, not just ores, what would be understandable, as Fortune is designed to work on ores only. Anything. I strongly recommend you to bug mDiyo until he fixed his berserking exploit before it gets more ridiculous than this message. And tell him to stop telling everyone that it's my fault, as it is not. He introduced it without even looking at vanilla smelting recipes, so he can't point at me just for adding some required smelting recipes. Sincerely, Gregorius Techneticus. To disable this message, bug mDiyo until he fixes it the proper way. Otherwise, I will very likely drown you with this text forever.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so I got no clue if it's just a bad transcription because this is really old. This is from 2013. Or maybe Gregorius just doesn't speak English as like his native language. And I'm not going to make fun of him for it, obviously, but I just think it's funny how the grammar is great to read. But yeah, so whether the issue was caused by mDiyo or GregoriusT was disputed on both sides. GregTech users blamed mDiyo, whereas Tinker's users blamed GregoriusT. Eventually, mDiyo added a config option that prevented them from coexisting on a single tool, which Greg considered enough to cease the conflict. I think that was around up until like the recent versions of Tinker's, which is cool. We'll actually go check, because I'm on the 118 version, and I think they might have gotten rid of it, but I could be wrong. Actually, on that site, GregTech just doesn't exist anymore. So, yeah, it's not around anymore. But we got some history here. Yeah, so however, this set the tone for future conflicts. Large walls of text disputing each other's changes. Wood recipe crash. A month or two later, one of the final GregTech versions to run on Minecraft 1.4.7 included a change to vanilla Minecraft wood to planks and sticks recipes, having the numbers of sticks produced in the output. And the intent was to was that players would use a saw to get the full yield. I think it would make like wood would turn into, I think, like 2 planks instead of 4, which was really annoying. And I think sticks also made 2. It got really irritating, and so you were supposed to use a saw from Industrial Craft to get the full yield. But there was a configuration line. B would need saw for planks, which would disable the change. However, mDiyo chose to add code which overwrote these recipe changes after the server was launched. GregoriusT took this as a declaration of war and added a check that would wait 5 seconds after the server started and check a set of recipes. If the recipes have been changed, the code stopped the server. Man's out here crashing servers because of petty recipe changes. Like, this recipe is really stupid, of course, but come on, that's just petty, Greg.
Bruh, okay.
So the result of this was a 10-hour flame war, ending after mDiyo requested a ceasefire, and most of them removed their offending code.
Greg moment.
Great. I think the best part of this is, I'm going to say I was around, at least for a little bit during this. I just never knew about it until, I think I just found this page randomly, because it got mentioned on another page on the wiki. It was great. However, mDiyo then re-added his recipe overriding code with its own config file, and Greg reissued him a pumpkin of shame in response, which does not have a wiki link, and that makes me very sad. Like, it links, but the page doesn't exist. The result of this was a 5-day flame war between Greg supporters and a collection of people who opposed what Greg had done. And we got, like, 3 more. Oh, here we go. Log spam and recipe unloading. No, don't go back and search for R by accident. Alright, midway through the life of Minecraft 1.5, a third conflict arose. During the previous conflict, Greg stated that other modders were allowed to modify GregTech functionality as long as it is constructive and reasonable in some way and doesn't intentionally break things. That's a direct quote from him. There's even a little reference for it. Additionally, GregTech uses the Forge or Dictionary to build its recipes and allow cross-mod compatibility in components, which is great. Every mod should do that, like, all the time. It's great. However, GregoriusT also used client-server startup logs to attempt to enforce a standard in Ore Dictionary item naming. You get shape material, ore copper, stick copper, and ingot copper, which actually are the ones that they used for a while. I don't know what shape material is for, though, but, like, ingots and ores will always be, like, ore material and ingot material and so on. And created several log entry lines whenever an item did not follow that convention. mDiyo became annoyed with people reporting these bugs and created the class Peace of Mind Java, which contained one functional line, paraphrased, that Minecraft Forge unregistered GT or dictionary handler, and that caused the log messages to stop. But it also caused every GregTech block to just not have recipes. That's great. And so after another several hours of argument, this file was moved to an optional plugin in the main TIC mod file, and mDiyo requested that all TIC items be blacklisted from GregTech or dictionary handling, and Greg complied, and that incompatibility remained in place for over a year. That is the stupidest, most pettiest thing I've ever heard, honestly. Like,
Bruh.
yeah, come on, mDiyo, you made a really cool mod that everyone loves. Why are you being petty with Greg? Of course, this was like a decade ago now, so they've probably gotten over it. I think both of them actually quit modding, but I'm not sure. So, startup message. Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
Sorry, unironically, I've never played GregTech, but GregTech is a pretty cool mod, at least GregTech Community Edition.
Yeah.
But like from what I'm hearing right now, it sounds like GregoriusT, he's a big yassle.
Yeah, I mean, of course these are just people making mods, like they're not like celebrities or anything, so people have conflicts, but it is very petty, especially like having him blacklist everything. That's just dumb. Like,
yeah.
I think there wasn't a config for it, so you had to just manually fix it. But I mean, they fixed it eventually because it remained for over a year. And like I said, this was back in 2013, but you got the last couple. Startup message. The fourth and final conflict between GregoriusT and mDiyo came as a result of an erroneous bug report. mDiyo received a report of an erroneous crafting recipe for a TIC block involving glass and IC2 scrap. This was a legitimate bug. I remember IC2 scrap. That was great. Though at the time of discovery, it had been fixed. The user reporting the bug was using an outdated version of GregTech, and in response to the report, mDiyo took it upon himself to, when GregTech and Tinkers were present together, again, create a large message when a client finished loading it and reached the Minecraft main menu, warning them of the dangers of GregTech. The message was subsequently reworded several times, as the initial version was little more than blatantly offensive, and after a few days scrapped entirely, as more of the community decided that was kind of rude. The message is not on the wiki page though, and that makes me sad inside. I'll see if I can find it, but it's great because it's like ancient. So, aftermath. mDiyo resigned as the lead developer of Tinkers in 2014, handing it to Bunny, who I think made Extra Bees, I want to say, and has not been involved in Tinkers since late that year. So, modern versions of Tinkers do not mention GregTech or Greg in their code bases. And yes, like I think he's still like on the project pages, but as like a former author, maybe the project owner. He just doesn't work on it. And so, in response to the drama, Minecraft Reloaded re-registered every item as Greggy Greg. Do please kindly stuff a sock in it. Which I remember that it was super annoying. I was like, why is this here, causing console spamming? In the later versions, however, only leather boots have that tag, have that as an or dictionary tag. Great. And so, there's actually a link to this Minecraft re-registering. So you go mod compatibility. GregTech 5 on the MFR page, and so it just mentions that same thing. So currently, MFR is a level 2 compatibility with GregTech, and I don't know what that means, but I'll have to check. But yeah, and so the aftermath is that, and then Feed the Beast Unhinged, released in mid 2013 for Minecraft 1.5.2, was the last Feed the Beast pack to include GregTech until Resurrection, which was released in late 2014 for Minecraft 1.7.10. I feel ancient because that's the version I played a lot. And the drama likely had a role in the Feed the Beast team's choice to not include GregTech in many of their mod packs, as well as GregoriusT's decision to move the mod in a total conversion direction. So as a result, although GregTech continues to have a cult following among its fans, I'm going to say insane fans because that mod has cancerous progression, its community remains somewhat insular from the mainstream modded community. Great. I just love how this is a page. They may ask those other pages like this because this is a very fun read. And there's even an info box. They've got a whole info box going over it. It's great. But yeah, that's kind of the it of it, and that's kind of like all of it. And I think it's really funny because it's a great like 5-paragraph read on the Feed the Beast wiki, and this is on the official Feed the Beast wiki, so it's great. It makes it even better. Like go feedthebeast.fandom.com. I'll leave like a link in the description. It's great, but I encourage everyone to read this themselves because I did just read it all, but it's more fun to see it on the wiki page, and I don't know, just seeing conflict like this, especially in mod devs, is really funny. But yeah, like I'm gonna check out those other pages that I linked, but it's great. And there's even a bunch of references to Industrial Craft forums and like the Slime Knights, GitHub, Java code and whatnot. It's great, and I just love it. But yeah, that's the end of the video though. I hope you enjoyed it. It's cool.